According to today's Daily Mail, you're most likely to live a long life in East Dorset.
You're watching The Right Stuff. We're live on 5 with Kay Adams, Terry Christian and our special guest Sarah Beeny. Still to come this morning, do stay-at-home university students have a second-class experience? Is the government wrong to think of encouraging the practice by scrapping tuition fees for students who choose to live with mum and dad? 0207 173 5555 is the number if you've got something to say. May very well be that you're a stay-at-home student now, in which case we'd love to hear from you. First, though, it's the headlines. What have you got for us, Sarah?
Well, the first one is, I'm sure everyone knows about this, but this is Murdoch's £1 million bill for hiding dirty tricks.
Yeah, big Guardian exclusive, yeah.
Yes, this is reporters have been caught, News of the World reporters have been caught tapping people's phones, and the allegations are that they have had to, Murdoch's had to pay out £1 million in compensation to the people who he's tapped.
Who, in turn, have signed confidentiality, gagging orders.
So they
which
can't
means,
say.
And the most intriguing part of the story, or of the allegations, is that of the 3 people that have signed these gagging orders, they obviously can't talk about it or anything else, but there's this suggestion that it's thousands more people, including Deputy Prime Minister John Prescott. And the bit that really fascinates me is that the police were aware, allegedly, that these phone hacks were being made, but haven't told the victims, which seems extraordinary if one of the victims is the deputy, or was, the Deputy Prime Minister.
Yeah, it does smell of sort of sinister stuff, all of this, but then having said that, you know, that's politics for you.
The other interesting thing, though, also is that Andy Coulson, who
Yes.
is the ex-editor of the News of the World and now the sort of chief communications advisor to David Cameron, the Conservative Party, is also kind of circling around this, isn't he? He's claiming that he knows nothing, but if this progresses, that's obviously a very kind of sensitive position for him to be in, isn't it?
And David Cameron's saying he's relaxed about it, which I think is...
I wonder for how long.
He's very relaxed about it. You're very relaxed about it, Andy. It's no problem, Andy. Andy, it's fine.
Yeah,
It
he's
does
relaxed.
seem a little bit strange not to just, on point of principle, say, you know, if you're principled enough to... Well, I say principled enough, but to end up in politics. You would have thought that you would have been more tempted to say, no, I'm sorry, I won't take the money, I'm going to talk about this in
Yeah, it's a fascinating case. As I said, I mean, John Prescott on the TV this morning is absolutely furious about it. There's no doubt about it. But then it's a great opportunity for the Labour government to get some to deflect
Point
all the
back,
yeah, exactly, to deflect some of the
thing is, if they were doing the taps to find out some big government secret or some big expose, it'd be great. But it's just to find out who's knocking off who, isn't it? Really?
Pretty much, I would imagine. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Imagine we buy the papers, don't we? So we're at fault.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're buying it, you don't necessarily know you're buying stories that have been obtained by means that are illegal, which is
I mean, like
this
Piers
phone
Morgan's
hacking.
first book, another one that you're probably in, Matthew, I'm sure. I mean, when I read that first, it kind of appalled me, although I kind of know how journalists work. But it was like this public schoolboy romp over people's feelings and sensibilities, and some of the kind of stunts they got up to. You just thought, my God, is this really how it works?
Piers Morgan, well, I was working at the Evening News. I used to write the music page there, and I just got the job on the Word.
Did you play the piano
Well,
at the
no, I
same
was
time?
like typing away there, and the guy did the gossip page was sitting opposite me, a bloke called Andy Spinoza. And as I was writing his copy in, I just started doing the Word. 500 quid a show I was getting. He got a phone call off Piers Morgan asking if he had any dirt on me, and he's like... I think he was going to blow apart my millionaire lifestyle.
All righty, well, that's trouble for the News of the World. What else do we have?
So there's that, and then there's... this is great news, because there's a new pill that's going to add 20 years to our life.
Oh, no.
Allegedly.
But it just means that a whole generation will be working in B&Q until they're 120, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's the... Well, obviously, the sad thing about this, you don't get 20 years of life between 20 and 30, which
just
is the
tacked
bit
on
we
at the
want.
end.
It's just tacked on
This
the
is something
end,
to do with
yeah.
Easter Island, is that right?
Yeah, they've found something which stops cells ageing by using the compound to... They use the compound to block the damaging process.
They don't just turn us all to stone?
No.
Okay,
no,
okay.
because that would last indefinitely.
Yes.
This is meant to stop cells.
Okay. Okay, so another 20 years. If, one trusts the Daily Express. They need extra 20 years on people's life because most of the people that buy the Express are really old, so it's very good news for them. Anything else, Sarah? It's true. It's the ABC demographic. Anything else, Sarah?
And this is about the fact that in Wimborne, you die a lot later. So you live longer in Wimborne.
They don't need the pills there.
Okay.
Nothing to do with the fact that you're richer in Wimborne, of course.
Would that be the case because is it expensive?
It is expensive to live there. And funnily enough, they've also got other areas where you have a chance of living longer, which are also quite wealthy areas.
Yeah,
So-
but you can elongate your mortgage, can't you? Get a 50-year mortgage. I'm going to live till 120.
Kensington and Chelsea, women live longer. I was quite surprised by that because it's right in the heart of the capital. You'd have thought that'd be relatively stressful. OK, anything else from you? No, Dom? OK. Oh, no, one more for you.
There's one more, and this is a lady who stabbed her husband in the back because, or fiancé, I think it was, in the back, because she caught him in a compromising position with someone who was looking at an injury on his groin in the kitchen. And then, as you do...
Picture the scene, if you will.
these things often happen. And then she's now marrying him. So that's...
Oh, that's a touching story.
Yes.
True love.
It's Mills and Boone, that, innit?
Well, he's too nervous to refuse, isn't he?
Yeah, well,
Thank you, sir. What have you got, Terry?
it's good to know she cares. Well, of course, the Mirror, it's Michael Jackson again, and we won't bury him without his brain, and this is because...
Nice, sensitive headline.
Well, the family don't want to bury Michael without his brain.
Where is his brain at the moment?
Well, it's in his body, in his head, I suppose.
Well, what's the
It's
problem?
been removed,
In a big
isn't it?
plastic bag. Oh, that is his head, isn't it?
What's the problem?
It's been removed for an autopsy.
Oh,
and I think, is it
right.
because they're Jehovah's Witnesses? I think they want to... It's something like
Well, I just think... I don't know. I've not read that bit. Be open a page.
Well, it was a late
really
night.
unpleasant
Yeah.
about autopsies, and I always think, if I die, please don't cut. I just think, put it all...
Yeah. Well, it's
Don't
obviously
happen.
tests for, what drugs he was on and this, that and the other,
Yeah.
so they've got the tissue in the brain that they can do that with. I mean, and then there's arguments going on in the family, because obviously Michael wanted to be buried at Neverland, didn't he? Yeah.
I don't know.
Come on.
Talk to someone who
Elvis at
cares.
Graceland, Michael at Neverland,
OK.
Poundland.
Isn't it great after that moving service the other day where the family were united?
OK.
and now
I thought we
they're
were done with Jacko
scrapping?
News.
Yeah,
Stop it. What else you
I
got,
think
Terry?
you're wrong about that, because I thought it was quite moving. Right, 50,000 student shortfall. Apparently there's a shortfall of student places, and now, of course, you talk about it could be a summer of discontent with, young kids, leaving school after doing their A-levels. Now there's not even the university places for them. Why that is, well, it's all sort of cuts. Banks don't want to lend. So there's all sorts of reasons, and,
So you can't get to university and you can't get a job.
No.
Whatever.
The factory fodder of the future. I don't know, but then again, it just seems like everybody goes to university nowadays. I don't know if that's...
you
it
need
sort of
people
covers
to
up the...
study David Beckham and golf studies and surf management. These are important, cutting-edge degree
Well, we have
courses.
ended up like
But
the
as a taxpayer, I'm thrilled that I'm underwriting.
We have ended up like the Americans, which is, where they had to pay their way through college. That's what
My
you have
sister
to do here
to
now.
send her son to the local uni is 40 or 50,000 sterling. To send him to Ivy League is over 100,000 a year.
Wow.
But you know what I mean? I think we used to joke, didn't we, that American degrees from American universities, unless it was
Mickey Mouse,
hailing
OK.
Yale or
OK,
Harvard.
anything else?
Yeah, and, the BNP leader, Nick Griffin, and we all know about him, don't we? He's been talking about an idea to stop immigration into
really?
Europe, and it was saying that they need to sink several of those boats coming from Africa. Anyone coming up with measures like that, we will support. He denied saying anyone should be murdered at sea, though.
Right.
Telling BBC Parliament's The Record, Europe, they can throw them a life raft and they can go back to Libya.
What a touching
What a-
tale.
It's just nicely put, isn't it? That's what's so lovely about it.
Oh, we'd not murder them, sink the boats and then give them a life raft.
What a lovely chap.
And then there'd be people saying, who's going to pay for the life rafts?
What colour will they
Good
be?
enough, eh?
What colour will they be?
Oh,
I'm not getting into a yellow life raft. I want a white one.
Oh, it's just...
One more from you, Terry,
scary.
please.
Well, this one's the Bermuda Triangle. A new mystery is 18 cats disappear in 2 streets. So it's in Norwich. In Norwich, we were talking about Norfolk yesterday, weren't we, with the scarecrow policeman.
Yeah.
Now all the cats are going missing too. So they say it might be a weirdo.
Yeah. Just might be a weird.
Probably a single woman.
It might be.
Comfortable shoes.
Well, you know, frightening. Oh, but saying it might be a fox.
Anyway, the nice thing is for the people in Norfolk that we know their policeman is, their chief constable is earning over £200,000 a year thanks to £75,000 extra payments he's getting, and I'm sure the case will be solved.
And there's some local journalists there getting a lot of money selling stories from Norfolk into the nationals.
Seems that way. What have you got, Kate?
Well, this story, I think, is in all of the papers, and in the Sun here, it's the face of the honey trap killer. This is a 15-year-old girl who apparently lured her boyfriend into a situation whereby he was going to be beaten to death, as he indeed was, by a gang, one of whom she was going out of. So she's two-timing this young boy, Shackles Townsend, and he was murdered in a horrific situation.
That
People are
really
always
is.
shocked.
That's one of the worst stories I've read for a long time.
It's so callous and brutal, with no respect for human life whatsoever. But, I mean, again, this plea from the murdered boy's mother, which is understandable, we must do something, we must stand up. I have to say here also, you can sort of immediately assume that these are the bad kids and the good kid. Now, the poor boy that was murdered had been in trouble himself, not recently, but there's a picture on his Bebo website as a young man, as a 13-year-old, with knives. He had been in trouble. There's another story down the side that his own father had failed to turn up in court. He's accused of dealing cocaine. These are very, very complicated stories, and obviously when they're portrayed like that, you know, you think you can make a judgment very quickly. You can't. It's so endemic.
And the state of play
in
with this case is that, what, they're sentenced to come, so they've been convicted, sentenced to come.
I think I'm sure I read this morning that she got life, actually, on a website, but I may be wrong on that. It's not in the morning's papers. But
we should have been forced to do it anyway. But there used to be a disco in Manchester that we used to go to.
Should you assume that the girl's been
been
forced to do it?
Well, I don't know, but
I
girls
don't think
used to take you outside, and then all these lads from Wythenshawe follow you out, beat you up and nick your money.
Did that happen to you, Terry?
Yeah. But you know,
I knew about it.
Where we are now, I don't think we should always be assuming that the girl was somehow forced into it. It may be the case. It may not be the case. I think we have to accept that this culture goes through all young people.
Anything else?
Yeah, this one in the Mail is a really complicated story. It's a couple who are claiming that their daughter was kidnapped by social services, and they have now lost a 2-year legal battle to have her adopted. You know, again, never quite what it appears in the headline. It says child snatched in RSPCA raid. Police went into these people's homes on a completely different thing.
RSPCA?
Well, these people were accused of mistreating animals in a fairly serious way. So the RSPCA and the police went into the home and discovered a situation which they found to be wanting in terms of the child's safety. No allegations of physical abuse, but basically the whole place was in a real state. There was debris and feces and stuff all around. They obviously had concerns for the child's well-being, if not safety. Took her away. And there it gets ever more complicated. And these people are very simply saying, we want our child, we've never harmed our child.
Is a former chairman or leader of her local Conservative group.
He is. There are also various incidents where he's lost it, the quotes are, and that he's been very abusive in other situations.
But the child has never been abused?
Not to their knowledge, but you know, on the one hand, we've got the first story where there's a complete breakdown in the kind of care, pastoral care, whether it's family or the community, and then we sort of rail at this. Why do you take that child away? It's so difficult.
But if there is no evidence that the child has been abused, and from what I can read, there is no evidence of the child being abused, then you wonder why on earth the child should be taken away. If they don't like the condition of the house, sure, that's one issue to deal with.
Police who carried out the raid said the house was covered in rabbit entrails and animal excrement. The child's bedroom had a hole in the roof. The duvet was filthy. There are certain things which trained professionals will go into and say...
So if you have a dirty duvet, your child gets put up for adoption?
No, Matthew, this has gone on for 2 years.
Okay.
I think we have to be really careful at putting the finger at social services and think they just take kids away willy-nilly. I don't think it's a decision that's taken lightly. You know, we can't have it always. Right, cheer up now. Girls are right to seek their ideal partner on the dance floor. Apparently, if a bloke's a good mover, gives a bit of the cha-cha-cha, then he's going to give you the best babies. So there you go. Sarah.
What's your experience, Sarah?
There's your boy Boogie.
I have to say, my husband is a fabulous dancer.
Yeah.
Evidently.
There you go. Matthew, you're a good dancer.
I like to dance,
Yeah.
I like to dance.
And the final one is Chitty Chitty. Oh, dear. Yes. Somebody call his girlfriend now. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, the final one from the Daily Mirror. And this is this gorgeous car, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. There it is. I think it's the original. And it was supposed to appear in this parade in somewhere in Norwich. God, it's the week of Norfolk, isn't it?
Somebody's cleaning up.
And apparently...
And we're not just talking about the top cop.
Indeed, it has been banned from appearing because it doesn't have a valid MOT certificate.
Quite right too.
Please.
Quite right. Now, hang on. You defend the social service to take away a child that hasn't been abused, and you condemn a car that is not fit for the use on the road. It does not have a legal certificate. What happens if a child gets run over by that car?
Kids wouldn't know
Because it doesn't have an
bang
MOT.
nowadays.
No, it means it might not have useful brakes. It might not be able to stop. No one's going to check.
Matthew, I've learned things about you this morning that I don't necessarily like, I have to tell you.
And my kids watched that film and hated it.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really scary.
The child catcher.
Well, no,
I
just
must
thought
admit,
it was boring.
Child's
Old-fashioned.
OK, after the break, do you stay-at-home university students end up having a second-class experience? Isn't living away from the rents part and parcel of getting a degree, part and parcel of the fun of it all? If so, what do you make of government plans to scrap tuition fees for students who choose to live with mum and dad? 0207 173 5555 is the number for your thoughts. If these plans were to become policy, will poorer students end up having an inferior university experience compared with those who live in digs? Your shout after the ads.
What percentage of uni students today live at home to save money? 21, 31 or 51%?